Yo, what is up guys, welcome to a new video. Today I'm gonna do the walkthrough of my new track together with Astroblast and Sam Knight called One Day. This track got released the past week, and if you didn't check it, I recommend you to go and check it. It's everywhere, you know, in YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. You can check it wherever you want to do it. And today I'm gonna show you what the project of this song has, you know, what sounds, where we add those sounds, why, and all those things. By the way, if you want to know how we did the vocals of this song, you can check the previous tutorial where I show you how to get harmonies, side vocals, lower vocals, and all of that with just one vocal stem. So if you want to know about the vocal, check that video, but wait until the end of this one so you don't miss this one. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and let's start with the tutorial. So this is the project of One Day. As you can see, is quite big, and the fun thing is that, as you can see here, we started this song almost 2 years ago. So in the intro, first we have these drums, just claps, rides, and the kick with a filter, and then in the second part of the intro, as always, I took out the filter of the kick. We decided to add this crowd clap. So this way is like we make our claps a little bit bigger. We added this tom, and we also added this snare roll that is all the time rising. And well, we have this fill. By the way, if you want to know how to create fills, I have a tutorial, so recommend you to go and check that one, because this way you will have more unique ones. In the intro, we also have our chords, and as you can see in the first part of the intro, we only have the first chord all the time. So this way is gonna be a bit easier to mix it live when you DJ is playing. And of course, are filtered. And then in the second part, as you can see, we have the corporation and without the filter. Also, as you can see here, we have more notes in this second part of the chords than in the first part. And it's because we decided to add the 7th note of the chord. This way it's like the chords are all the time evolving, you know, and keep rising. As you can see here, this is the first chord, and here we have again the first chord, but with the 7th. Here we have the second chord, and here we have the second chord with the 7th. So as you can see, we are adding more harmonies, you know, more notes, and it's giving another vibe. In the intro, we also have our bass line, and first we have it just with the first note and, well, some glides. Of course, it's filtered. And then here, as in the chords, we have it with the corporation, without the filter, and so. About this bass line, as you can see, is a big layer, and I first had this bass line, but Astroblast decided to send me these sounds that are a bit more detuned, a bit more distorted, and also send me this one. As you can see here, we have like a gate effect with the bass line. And in this part of the intro, we muted everything, the drums, the kick, we don't have anything there but the bass line. So this way we created a different kind of effect, something that the people is not gonna expect in this part, because in this moment, in this beat, it should be the kick and the drums again, but we delayed a bit and we decided to add this kind of effect. As you can see in the chorus, in this part, with an automation, we decided to cut everything, even the reverb. But to help a little bit more in this part, we have the sub bass with a pitch envelope, and it's going from down to normal. So it's creating like a little bit of rising effect. And well, as you can see, we have two sub bass like I did in Here Tonight, and this one is a bit more present and higher, and this one is a lot more aggressive and warm. So well, now we have this in the intro. And it sounds a bit empty, and so we decided to first add this arp that is in the breakdown. So it's creating like an atmosphere sound, and we also decided to take the block of the breakdown and have it just with one note in offbeat. And well, of course, we have a lot of effects. As you can see, first we have some downlifters, then we have some vocals creating like an atmosphere sound. And then we have these effects that are used in the drop as ear candy. And then in the second part of the intro, we just have a new downlifter and some risers, and this siren noise that we have in the drop. So now the entire intro sounds like this. Then as you can hear in this part, we have like a small gap with downlifters from the intro, and also some reverse sounds from the breakdown. So we start the breakdown in a simple way. So here we first have our break pads, and it's one sustained pad and one rolling pad. Both of them, as you can see, has a cutoff automation. So all the time is rising and opening the track. We also have this ARP, that as you can see it also has a cutoff, so this way is a bit smoother to add sounds. What we also have is a filter kick that we're increasing the volume. And also some ambient sounds to have in the background. But as I always say, every 8 bars you have to change, you have to add something new. So after the first 8 bars in the patch we decided to add these strings. And as you can see here it has the 7th 1 octave higher. So this way is giving a bit more harmonies and emotion. Apart from that we have the bass line with the rhythm. And what we decided to do here is during these 16 bars keep creating like a rising effect, opening the filters and so on. And after those 16 bars, instead of having build-ups or something like that, have like a calm bar, you know, a chill bar where the vocal is gonna have a lot of presence and where you sing in the main part. So this way we create something that the people probably wouldn't expect. And to help on this transition we also have these snares. So what do we have new in this part? We have these pads that are low higher pads. We have this piano. And we have these voices. But as you can see, all the time we're having more notes. And what we did with the strings is keep the higher note of the last chord, that is the root note of the key, all the time. And also this part is more calm, you know, it's more chill. We decided to have sustained notes in the bass line instead of rhythm. So after 16 bars we created like a rising opening effect, and then after those 16 bars we put the main part of the vocal. So now you know the chords of the track, you know the sounds, you know the vocal and all of that. So after these new 8 bars, what do we need to add? We need to add the melody. So we decided to add the melody with this plug. And as you can see, we decided to add it a little bit before. This is something really good that you don't always can do it, but it depends on the melody. But this time worked, and it's something really good because it's something that the people is not gonna expect. The people is gonna expect the melody a little bit later. And also in the ARP, instead of having all the time the ARP, what we did is with the same sound we decided to have the melody. So it's creating more depth in the melody. As you can hear, there is a snare in the background filtered, because what we decided to do is start adding some rhythm, and instead of having directly the build-up, we decided to first have 8 bars with the snare filtered, and you start getting the feeling that the drop is gonna come soon. So we just have this snare with a filter and this snare roll also with a filter. But of course, after these 8 bars, the build-up starts here, so we don't have any more filters on these sounds, and we decided to add this trap snare to add a bit more rhythm and make it faster. As you can see here, we also decided to add this one to add a bit more energy on it. And as you could probably hear, these snares have a lot of sub, and it's because, as you probably know, I like a lot to put filter kicks in the build-up. It's something that is gonna add a lot of strength to the snares, and it's gonna add a lot of power to the build-up. So as you can see, this is the kick, and if we don't have it, it sounds like this. So it's kinda empty, but if we have it, it adds a lot of strength. But what do we have new in the build-up? Not a lot. We have those sounds, we have of course the pad repeating the first chord all the time to add some tension, the ARP doing the melody, we have the plug, and of course we have the leads. As you can see, the leads are really big, and if we go one by one, we have a natural sound, another natural sound like a trumpet, this synth sound that is kinda soft, a really distorted sound that is adding a lot of character to the layer. This one that is adding a bit more attack to the layer. A really distorted and aggressive and ravey lead sound. And finally, just a super saw covering the sides, covering the highs and making it sound a bit fuller. And them together sound like this. As you can see, the leads has a lot of automation, but it's not a lot. What we're doing first is with the fast LP, we cut the highs of the leads and is increasing all the time. Then what we're doing with this EQ here is cutting the lows that is rising. So we make sure that the leads get thinner as the build-up is rising, so this way when the drop comes, as you're gonna have the leads without any filter, it's gonna feel like they are more powerful. Then we have this automation that, as you can see, is the reverb, and it's just increasing the reverb all the time. And here we have the guitar rig, which is this plugin with this preset, and what it's gonna add is a lot of reverb on it. So if we don't have the guitar rig, sounds like this. But if we have the guitar rig, sounds like this. As you can hear, it has a lot more depth, so this way what we're creating is a feeling that the leads are in the background and are coming to you, and then as in the filters, when the drop comes and we don't have that much reverb, they feel more in your face. Apart from that, we of course have a lot of effects, some down effects to help on the transition when the build-up starts, and some rising effects to help when the build-up is going up. So then we come to the drop, and in the drums we don't have anything new. It's the same as in the intro, you know, we have those drums, we have the kick, and here we add these percussions. On the leads, as you can see here, we have this sound that is helping the first note of that rhythm, but we want it also to help on the second and the third note of the rhythm. So what we decided to do is add this plug sound. So them two together sound like this. So this way we're helping a little bit more the leads on those notes, and also we're making it a bit more interesting and different. Then we have the chords as in the intro, we have the bass line as in the intro, we also have the stop as in the intro. We have some effects like this crash, downlifters, this noise loop to cover the highs. We have this small impact that is helping on the rhythm again. Then we have these ear candy sounds that we had in the intro. And finally we have this siren all the time in the drop. And the drop sounds like this. Then in the middle of the drop, what we decided to do first is create like a feel. We added this vinyl sound to create like a bit of rising effect. We also took this vinyl sound, but we reverse it. And then we have this snare and this private snare here. And what we did on the leads is filter them from both sides, from the lows and from the highs, and add more reverb. So first with this automation we have the reverb. And then with these automations here, so with this plugin we're filtering the lows, you know, we're cutting the lows, we're creating a high pass. But then with this EQ, what we're doing is reducing the highs a little bit. Then in this part that we have just the reverb of it and it's really thin, we have this gate effect from the bass line, and then the drop comes back again. Then when the drop ends, before starting again with the second breakdown, as we did with the intro and the first breakdown, we have a small gap just with downlifters and reverse sounds, but we decided to add this. Instead of having the track sound like this, we decided to render just one note from the plug sound of the breakdown, but with a lot of reverb, and we made this. So this way we're adding more details to the track, and in my opinion those little things is what making the track professional. Then for the second breakdown, as I always say, I don't recommend you to just copy and paste from the first breakdown. This makes the track, in my opinion, super noob, you know, it doesn't make it sound professional. If you just copy and paste, it's boring, you know. So what I recommend you to do is more or less have the same arrangement but with new sounds, or change a little bit the arrangement of the second breakdown. So as you can compare, this first breakdown is a bit longer than this one. As you can see, more or less we start the same way. We don't have these filters because we already introduced those sounds. Also, we just start directly with the higher pads. We have the filter kick from the beginning, but the new thing in this breakdown is this guitar that is from Contact, that is creating a different vibe in the second breakdown and is making it sound different. Then, after 8 bars, we decided to put the piano on the strings from the first breakdown. We decided to add these orchestral drums, and as you can see, instead of having just one drum loop, we added more sounds to make it a bit more unique and emphasize the parts we want. But also what we decided to do is add these strings here that is doing more or less the drop melody, but not exactly the same one. So it's like introducing again the melody, but not as before, so this way it doesn't get that much boring. And as you can see down here we have some automations, and these automations, what they're doing is, first, in these gaps we're increasing the reverb, But we thought that this is exactly the same all the time, we could add some effects on the reverb to make it sound a bit different. So the first gap just have the reverb, the second one has a gate effect with gross beat, and the last one has a tape stop effect with glitch. Then after 8 new bars we decided to add the normal melody with the plug and with the atmosphere ARP sound, and we decided to take out these strings because it didn't feel well. And then we have again the build up, and as you can see it's more or less the same. We have the same chords, we have the same sounds, you know, we have everything the same. The only difference is that, as I told you before, in this part we had the root note of the key all the time, sustained, and here we did the same with the strings, and these are the voices. So this way we're adding a little bit more tension to the second build-up. Then the second drop, as you can see, is the same as the first one. And finally the outro is exactly the same as the intro, but the opposite way. So first we have all the drums, then just a bit of drums and with the kick filter. We have the same pads, the plug. We have the chords and the bass line doing the corporation, and then just the first one, and all the same. So well guys, this is it. This is how Astroblast and me made one day. As I told you before, if you want to know about the vocals, the previous video I uploaded here on YouTube is about those vocals, and I show you how we created the harmonies and all of that for that one. So I recommend you to go and check that video. And if you have any questions about this tutorial, just leave it down below in the comments and I will reply to you. I hope you learn a lot with it inspires you and you get new ideas. And if it did, please just leave a like and subscribe to the channel. This is the way you can support me. And also don't forget to stream this track everywhere, so this way you can support all of us. So well guys, nothing else. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial and see you in the next video.